So what's the bottom line when it comes to crafting the right offer?
It comes down to this. Your marketing is going to be so much more effective when you offer a clear solution to a problem that your audience is actively facing.
It's not about just hoping for the best, right?
It's about giving people what they need.
Exactly.
I love it.
Okay, so you've sent over a bunch of stuff about online marketing, and I gotta say it's a lot.
It is.
Like, it can be pretty overwhelming to look at all the different strategies and platforms and all the stuff you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, for sure.
So today we're going to try to cut through all that noise.
Okay.
We're going to pull out like the most practical stuff from the materials you shared.
Sounds good.
So whether you're like deep in the health and wellness world or you're building something totally different online, our mission today is to find those key strategies that'll actually help you make progress without you feeling like you need a PhD in marketing to actually understand them.
Exactly.
So to do that, we're going to be talking about a few things.
Okay.
We'll look at how to really zero in on who you're talking to, like nailing down your audience.
For sure.
And then how to figure out what problems you're solving for them.
Yeah.
And then how to create offers that people are actually going to want to buy. We'll talk about getting comfortable with using video because it's so important these days.
Definitely.
And then we'll even look at how to pick the right platforms to focus on.
Perfect.
Because let's be real.
Yeah.
Sometimes online marketing feels less like a strategy and more like you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off in 100 different directions.
Oh, totally. Sometimes it feels like you're doing everything and nothing all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're busy, but are you actually making progress?
Right. And one of the things that really stuck out to me from the stuff you sent over was this idea that the most successful online businesses are often defined by what they don't do.
That's interesting.
Like, instead of trying to be everything to everyone, they've really embraced the power of focusing.
Okay. I like that.
And that seems like it's going to be a key theme for us today.
Yeah, I think so.
It's all about making your online marketing more effective,
Right.
but also less overwhelming and stressful for you.
Exactly.
So let's jump into it. Let's start with this idea of niching down.
Right.
It might seem kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah, you'd think you'd want to reach as many people as possible.
Exactly. Like you'd be limiting yourself. But one of the things you shared really stressed that choosing a niche is actually super important.
Okay, so why is that such a big deal?
Well, think of your niche like your superpower.
Okay.
When you focus in on a smaller part of the market, you can avoid all the crazy competition that comes from trying to appeal to everybody.
That makes sense.
You start to attract an audience that really resonates with what you're putting out there.
Okay.
And you can build authority and trust way faster.
So it's not just about getting any audience.
Right.
It's about getting the right audience.
Exactly.
People who are actually interested in what you have to offer.
Yeah. And when you know who you're talking to, your marketing can be so much more focused. You can tailor your content, your offers, literally everything, to speak directly to that audience. So instead of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, you're actually making everything you do so much more efficient.
That's super smart.
Yeah, and one of the examples in your material that really clicked for me was the shift from just saying you're in health and wellness to something more specific like holistic nutrition for busy professionals.
Oh, yeah.
It suddenly becomes so much clearer. You can almost picture who you're serving and what their lives are like.
Right, and what their struggles might be.
Exactly.
I get it.
So, okay, let's say you're starting from scratch. How do you actually go about finding that right niche for yourself?
Well, first you got to look inward.
Okay.
What are you actually passionate about? What do you know a lot about or have experience with?
Okay.
Maybe you're super into fitness and you've been doing yoga for years.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could focus on something like yoga for stress relief in working professionals.
I like that.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your passion and your expertise really overlap.
Makes sense.
Sure.
But passion alone doesn't guarantee that you'll have an audience, does it?
Absolutely not. You're going to need to do some detective work.
Okay.
You've got to make sure that there's actually people out there who are interested in what you're offering.
So how do you do that?
One of the things your stuff mentioned was using tools like Google Trends.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that.
It can help you see if people are actually searching for the types of topics that are in your potential niche.
Oh, that's smart.
And it also talked about going into online communities like Facebook groups
Mm-hmm.
or forums or Reddit
Right.
to see what questions people are asking and what problems they're talking about.
It's like eavesdropping, but in a good way.
Exactly. And another crucial thing is to look at what your competitors are doing.
Oh, yeah, that's always a good idea.
If you see other businesses that are succeeding in that niche,
Mm-hmm.
it's usually a good sign that there's a market there.
So there's actually people who are willing to spend money
Right.
on solutions in that area.
Exactly. And one of your examples actually highlighted this perfectly.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
It talked about gut health and nutrition
Okay.
as being a really broad trending topic.
Mm-hmm.
But then it pointed out that people were creating more specific niches,
Okay.
like simple meal plans for gut health, and finding a lot of success there.
So it's taking that broad interest and drilling down to a specific audience.
Exactly.
I get it.
You follow.
Totally.
Good. So you've got that passion,
Mm-hmm.
you've done some research, and it looks like there's actually interest out there.
Right.
But now how do you know if it's actually going to be profitable?
Yeah. That's the big question, right?
Definitely. You got to see if you can turn that interest into actual income.
So how do we figure that out?
One way is to look for affiliate products you could recommend.
Okay.
Are there courses, ebooks, or coaching programs in your niche that seem to be doing well?
So you're looking for evidence that people are spending money.
Exactly. And another thing you can do is see where businesses are spending their ad dollars.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
If you see ads in a specific niche,
Yeah.
it often means that those businesses are seeing a return on their investment.
So they wouldn't be spending money if they weren't making money.
Exactly. And going back to that gut health example, it pointed out that people are buying supplements and meal plans,
Right.
which shows that they're willing to spend money in that area.
So it's not just interest, it's actual spending.
Right.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's say you've done your research.
Mm-hmm.
Things are looking promising.
Okay.
Do you just go all in at that point?
Not so fast.
Okay.
Your material made a really good point about testing the waters first
Oh, that's
before you make a huge commitment.
right. You don't want to go too deep before you know if there's actually an audience there.
Exactly.
So how do you test things out?
Well, you could start by creating a blog or an Instagram account or a YouTube channel focused on your niche
Okay.
and see if people actually engage with your content.
So you're looking for likes, comments, shares, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And another good idea is to offer a free resource.
Oh, like a lead magnet.
Yeah, like a beginner's guide to gut health
Mm-hmm.
and see how many people download it.
So you're gauging interest.
Right. And you can even run small targeted ad campaigns
Okay.
to get some data without spending a ton of money up front.
So you're not risking a huge investment before you know if it's going to work.
Exactly. And one of the stories in your material really highlighted why this is so important.
What happened?
This person thought they had a perfect niche,
Okay.
invested a ton of time and money into it,
Oh, no.
only to find out later that there wasn't actually any real audience interest.
Ouch. That's got to be painful.
It is a tough lesson for them.
So they skipped the testing phase.
They did, and it cost them.
Wow. So what do they do?
They finally decided to test things out with a simple Instagram page
Okay.
about gut health tips.
Mm-hmm.
And they quickly started to see people following and engaging with the page.
Oh, so that gave them the confidence to keep going.
It did, and they were able to pivot their business based on what they learned from that test.
That's a great reminder to start small and test things out
Exactly. It's so much better to learn early on if something isn't going to work.
before you've invested too much.
Right.
So what's the big takeaway here about niching down?
The main point is that online marketing becomes a lot easier when you pick a niche.
Okay, I like that.
Think of it like this. Instead of shouting your message into a giant crowded stadium,
Yeah.
you're speaking directly to a room full of people who are actually interested in what you have to say.
So it's about quality over quantity.
Exactly. And that clarity makes everything you do more effective.
From creating content to connecting with your audience to ultimately making sales.
Right.
It all just flows better.
It does.
Fantastic.
Good.
So we've talked about finding our niche, our focused audience.
Right.
Now what's the next step?
Well, the stuff you shared kept coming back to this idea of solving one core problem for your audience.
Okay, so we know who we're talking to.
Yeah,
Now we need to figure out what their biggest pain point is.
exactly. And why is that so important?
Because once you understand their specific problem, you can position yourself as the go-to solution.
Okay.
And being too general here is like trying to use a Swiss Army knife for brain surgery.
Oh, wow.
It's just not specific enough to be truly effective.
Yeah. People aren't looking for vague advice.
Right. They want solutions to their very specific problems.
Exactly. So how do you figure out what that core problem is?
It can be tricky.
It can be. So the first thing you need to do is really empathize with your audience.
Okay.
Put yourself in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
What are they struggling with every day?
Right.
What questions are they constantly asking in online groups?
Right.
What kind of solution would actually make a big difference in their lives?
So it's about understanding their needs and desires.
Exactly. And the example that really stuck with me was this
Okay.
shifting from a broad goal, like weight loss, to a more specific problem, like how busy moms can lose weight without spending hours at the gym.
Oh, yeah. That's so much more relatable.
It is.
You can instantly picture that person and their struggle.
And their desired outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So where do you even begin to uncover these kinds of problems that your audience is facing?
The internet is your best friend here.
Okay.
Your material mentions some great places to start.
Like what?
Facebook groups and Reddit. They're like virtual water coolers where people are talking about their challenges and asking for advice.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
And you can also look at YouTube comments
Okay.
on videos related to your niche and questions on sites like Quora.
Right.
These can all reveal recurring problems and frustrations that people are experiencing.
And don't forget Amazon book reviews.
So yeah, that's a good word.
You can see what readers feel is missing or what they're struggling with.
That's a great point.
And then there are even simpler tools like Google Autocomplete.
Yeah, what pops up when you start typing in a general term related to your niche?
Right. And the People Also Ask section in Google's search results.
Those can be surprisingly helpful
They can.
because they show you what questions people are commonly asking.
Like in the online business world, you might see a lot of people asking, how do I start an online business with no money?
That's a great example.
It's a clear problem that a lot of people are facing.
Exactly. So it's all about listening to the conversations that are already happening online.
Right. And paying attention to the questions people are asking.
Exactly. And the material actually highlighted an example of this.
What was it?
It talked about someone who found a lot of success by focusing on how small business owners can grow on Instagram without paid ads.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And why do you think that was so effective?
Well, it's so specific.
It is.
And it speaks directly to a pain point that a lot of small business owners have.
Which is?
Limited budgets. They don't have a ton of money to throw at marketing.
Right. So by focusing on organic Instagram growth strategies,
Yeah.
they're offering a solution that's actually attainable.
It's practical.
It is.
And it's much more appealing than just saying, hey, I can help you with social media marketing.
For sure.
So it's not just about identifying any problem.
No.
It's about finding a problem that you can realistically solve for your audience.
Exactly. And making sure that solution is something they actually want and need.
Okay, so we've identified that core problem. Now, how do we make things as easy as possible for our potential customers who are experiencing it?
Well, your material emphasized the importance of positioning yourself as the go-to solution.
Okay.
By making things super clear and actionable for your audience.
So no complicated jargon.
No, keep it simple.
Step-by-step guidance.
Exactly. And creating free resources can be really helpful here.
Oh, like what?
Checklists, quick start guides, video tutorials.
Those are all great
What?
because they give people a taste of what you can offer.
Right. And they show them that you can actually help them solve their problem.
And if everyone else in your niche is giving the same basic advice, it's important to think about what unique perspective you can bring to the table.
Right.
How can you stand out?
Exactly. And the material gave a great example of this.
What was it?
A 3-step Instagram system.
Okay.
Optimize your bio, use an engaging content formula, and post daily stories.
Oh, that's simple and easy to understand.
It is, and it breaks down a big task into manageable chunks.
I like that.
So by providing a clear framework,
Yeah.
you're showing people how you can help them reach their goals.
And it makes them more likely to trust you and invest in your solutions.
Exactly. So the key takeaway here is that successful online marketing isn't about being everything to everyone.
Right.
It's about becoming the expert at solving one specific problem for your ideal audience.
Okay, I'm loving this focus.
Good.
So we know our niche. We understand the core problem.
Right.
Now, how do we actually turn that into something that gets us results?
Leads and sales?
Exactly. Let's talk about crafting the right offer.
This is where the magic happens.
It is.
You've attracted the right people by talking about a specific problem they have.
Yeah.
Now you need to give them a solution that they can't resist.
Okay, so an irresistible offer.
Yes. And this is more than just slapping a price tag on something.
Right. There's an art to it.
Definitely, you need to think about what your audience actually needs and what format is going to be best for delivering the solution.
So what are some of the things we should be considering?
Well, do they need a quick win?
Okay.
Or do they need a more in-depth approach? Do they like to learn on their own?
Or do they prefer more interaction and support?
Exactly.
And are they looking for a one-time fix or something ongoing?
Those are all great questions.
Understanding these preferences is going to help us create an offer that really resonates.
For sure.
And the Instagram marketing example was really helpful here.
Oh, how so?
Well, I talked about using checklists for those quick wins, e-courses for people who want a deeper dive,
right,
and then mastermind groups for that more personalized coaching experience.
Yeah, those are all different ways to address the same basic need for Instagram growth.
But they cater to different learning styles and budgets.
Exactly.
So let's break down some of these specific types of offers that the material mentioned.
Sounds good.
Starting with e-courses.
Okay.
When are those the most effective?
E-courses are great when your audience wants a step-by-step guide on how to achieve a specific goal.
Okay.
Or learn a new skill.
So it's like a structured learning experience.
It is. And the Instagram Growth Blueprint example was really helpful.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
It's a video course that walks small business owners through the process of building their following organically on Instagram.
Oh, cool.
And there are platforms specifically designed for hosting these courses.
Like what?
Teachable, Thinkific, Kajabi, Gumroad.
Those all sound familiar.
They're pretty popular for this type of thing.
Okay, so e-courses are for teaching skills in a structured way. What about memberships?
Memberships are fantastic for creating a community.
Okay.
And providing ongoing support.
So it's for people who want that sense of belonging.
Yes, and they're great for those who need consistent motivation and want to connect with others on a similar journey.
So they're not just getting information.
Right.
They're getting a whole support system.
Exactly. And the example they gave was an Instagram marketing club.
Okay.
Which would give members access to things like monthly content calendars, exclusive training videos, and live Q&A sessions.
Oh, that's a nice package.
It is.
And they would pay a recurring fee for that.
Right. Usually monthly or annually.
So it creates a consistent stream of income for the business.
It does. And platforms like Kajabi Patreon or even a private Facebook group can be used for this.
So lots of options.
Yeah.
Then we have masterminds.
Okay. Those are interesting.
They seem like a more premium offering.
They are. They're usually for people who want more one-on-one coaching.
Okay.
And high-level networking opportunities.
So it's a smaller, more exclusive group.
Exactly. And they come with a higher price tag.
How much are we talking?
The material mentioned examples around $500 or more per session.
Wow. That's a serious investment.
It is, but you're getting a lot in return.
Like what?
Regular group coaching calls guest expert presentations dedicated communication channels.
So it's a very high-touch experience.
It is, and platforms like Zoom, Slack, or Discord are often used to facilitate this.
And the example they gave was an Instagram Business Accelerator program.
That's a good one.
Okay, so we've talked about offers that are more service-based and community-driven. What about digital products like software?
Software is great for automating tasks and making things more efficient.
Yeah, people love to save time and effort.
Definitely. And the example they used was a hashtag Finder Pro app.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It helps people find relevant hashtags for their Instagram posts.
Which can be a huge time saver.
It can be, and software is often offered as a monthly or annual subscription.
Okay.
And it can be developed by programmers. Or even using no-code platforms.
What are those?
Platforms like Bubble or Glide.
Okay.
That let you build apps without knowing how to code.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It is, and offering a free trial is a common way to get people to try the software.
Okay, so software for automation and efficiency. Then there's the idea of a mobile app.
You're right.
For people who are always on the go.
Exactly. If your audience is glued to their phones.
Which, let's face it, most people are these days.
Pretty much then a dedicated app can be a really powerful offer.
The example they gave was InstaScheduler.
Yeah, for planning and scheduling Instagram posts.
That's a good one.
It is, but developing an app usually requires hiring developers.
Right.
And you can charge a one-time fee or a recurring subscription for it.
Okay, so apps are for convenience and on-the-go access.
For sure.
What about something simpler and faster to create, like templates?
Templates are amazing for providing instant value.
Okay.
They save people time and effort.
The example they used was Instagram caption templates.
Yeah, a collection of pre-written captions that people can customize for their own posts.
So it takes the guesswork out of writing captions.
It does, and you can create these using design tools like Canva.
Okay.
Or even just Google Docs.
And you can sell them on places like Etsy or Gumroad.
Exactly, or even on your own website.
So templates are for quick and easy implementation.
They are.
And then finally, we have resource pages and checklists.
Okay.
Those are often used as lead magnets to grow your email list.
Exactly. A well-designed resource page with lots of helpful information or a checklist that outlines steps people can take can be a great way to attract subscribers.
And the example was an Instagram growth checklist.
That's a good one.
You can easily create these using Canva or Notion.
Yep.
So we have a ton of options for creating different types of offers.
We do.
But once you've actually made something, how do you get it out there and start making sales?
First, you need a dedicated landing page.
Okay.
That showcases your offer and all its benefits.
A landing page?
Yes, and platforms like ConvertKit, Leadpages, and ClickFunnels are popular for building these.
I've heard of those.
They're pretty common.
Okay, so you have your landing page.
Yeah.
What's next?
You need to write compelling sales copy.
Okay.
That clearly explains the problem your offer solves, the specific solution it provides, and the benefits people will experience.
It's all about painting a picture of the transformation.
It is. And don't forget about social proof.
What's that?
Testimonials, case studies, reviews from happy customers.
Oh, yeah. Those are super important.
They build trust.
So people are more likely to buy.
Exactly. And finally, you need to promote your offer consistently across all your online channels.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, email, everything.
Exactly. Get the word out there.
So what's the bottom line when it comes to crafting the right offer?
It comes down to this. Your marketing is going to be so much more effective when you offer a clear solution to a problem that your audience is actively facing.
It's not about just hoping for the best, right?
It's about giving people what they need.
Exactly.
I love it.
Good.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about a type of content that's become super essential in online marketing.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Video.
Yes, video.
The stuff you sent over really highlighted how powerful it is.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer these days.
So why is video such a big deal in the online world?
Well, first of all, it's so good at grabbing attention. Way more engaging than just text or images.
Right. People would rather watch than read.
Exactly. And it's also great for building trust.
Okay.
Because people can actually see and hear you.
It makes you more human.
It does. It creates a much stronger connection.
And let's not forget about the algorithms.
Oh, yeah. Those sneaky algorithms.
They love video content.
They do.
Yeah.
Which means your content is more likely to be seen by more people.
So it can really boost your reach.
It can. And at the end of the day, it can also help you make more sales.
Okay. Tell me more about that. A ton of studies have shown that video can significantly increase conversion rates.
So people are more likely to buy after watching a video.
Exactly. And especially short-form video.
Like TikToks and Reels.
Yes. Those are getting insane engagement.
They are. And let's not forget about YouTube.
Good YouTube.
It's still one of the most popular websites in the world.
It's a video powerhouse.
Oh, it is. So, yeah, video's definitely not optional anymore.
Not if you want to be successful online.
But with all the different types of videos out there, where do you even begin?
Well, your material had a really helpful breakdown of different video formats.
Okay, let's hear it.
So you have your talking head videos.
Where you're just talking to the camera.
Yeah, those are great for building your personal brand and sharing quick tips or insights.
So I'm just sitting here talking like this.
Exactly like you're doing now.
And what else is there?
You've got faceless videos,
okay,
which use things like animations, stock footage, or screen recording.
So you don't have to be on camera.
Exactly. Perfect for people who are camera shy.
Oh, that's a good option.
And then there are green screen videos. Where you can put yourself in different virtual environments.
So it looks more professional and creative.
Exactly.
Cool. And what else?
Reaction videos.
Oh, those are fun.
They are, and they can be really engaging.
You're reacting to something funny or interesting.
Or controversial.
Right, and you can tap into trending topics.
Exactly. And then you have interview videos.
Okay.
Which are great for building authority.
So I could interview you, for example.
You could, and you can feature experts in your niche.
Right. And get their insights and perspectives.
Exactly. And then finally, you have podcast videos.
Oh, yeah.
Where you repurpose your audio content for YouTube.
So people can watch as well as listen.
Exactly.
That's a lot of options.
It is. But it's good to have variety.
Do you need fancy equipment for all of these?
Not at all, especially when you're just starting out.
Okay, that's good to hear.
For talking head videos, all you really need is good lighting, a tripod to hold your phone, and your smartphone's camera.
Or a webcam.
Yeah, and for faceless videos, there are tools like Canva Doodly and Pictory that make it really easy to create animations and other cool visuals.
So you don't need to be a tech whiz.
Nope. And even green screens can be pretty affordable.
Okay, so the focus should be on the content.
Exactly. Make it valuable and engaging.
And then as you get more comfortable, you can invest in better equipment.
Right.
The material also talked about a specific daily posting strategy for video.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that.
It suggested aiming for 1 long-form video per day.
Okay.
Plus around 4 shorter videos.
So a mix of long and short content.
Exactly. And the idea is to reach different audiences on different platforms.
Okay.
So those longer videos like tutorials or in-depth explanations, those would go on YouTube.
Right.
And then the shorter stuff like Reels or TikToks.
Those are for capturing attention quickly.
And going viral.
Exactly. And you can even repurpose content from your longer videos to create those shorter ones. Oh, that's a smart way to save time.
It is. So, for example, you could take a 10-minute YouTube tutorial and break it down into several 60-second reels highlighting key tips.
That's a great idea.
So it's all about creating a content ecosystem.
Right, where everything works together. Expert.